You are one lucky person because you've just stumbled across my first ever YouTube video. This is my story to find out who is Connor Mason. For those that don't know me, my name's Connor Mason, I'm 22 years old and I've spent the past 5 years working as a navigation officer in the Merchant Navy. I've travelled to 59 countries around the world and that brings me to where I am today, which in this case is the beautiful St. Vincent in the Caribbean. I wanted to jump on YouTube, I guess, and create a channel. This video is purely for my own purposes, to look back in a few years time and say, look at how far we've come. I'm expecting this video to maybe get 10 views. Tell you what, if it gets 10 views, I'm a happy man. Of them 10 views, there might be one person who actually finds this interesting and can relate to it in some sort of way. So here we go. Let me run you back to day one. I was born initially healthy and well in a little town called Whitehaven up in Cumbria in the northwest of England. A beautiful county that anyone who visits understands what I'm talking about. At 11 days old, I underwent an 8-hour open heart surgery. I hope you can hear me because I've got all these trucks behind me, but this is the best it's going to get because I'm filming on my iPhone. Anyhow, yes, 11 days old, open heart surgery, went through primary school, happy kid, always smiling, always laughing. Secondary school came about and didn't love it, didn't hate it. I always wanted to push hard for my exams, but I was always not scared because I'm a confident person, but there was always that judgment that those around me would have something to say about me. Even just working hard in exams, which is daft really, isn't it? But yeah, at age 13, I joined the Sea Cadets. When you join the Sea Cadets, basically everything pushes towards a life in the Royal Navy. But I soon realised that that wasn't an option for me because of my heart surgery in the past. So, what other options did I have? When it comes to age 14, 15, when school starts pushing you towards picking what career you want in life, you either go to university, you get a job, you go to sixth form, or you work in a family business. Family business was out of the equation for me because none of my family owned a business. I definitely didn't want to go to university and I didn't want to stay at school and do sixth form because there was nothing else that I was actually passionate about. All I knew at age sort of 14, 15 was that I did not want to stay at home any longer than I needed to. So that meant I had to get a job far away from home. But what were my options? My whole family growing up, my mum, my dad, my auntie, my uncle, my grandma, my sister, everybody in this little town works at the nuclear power plant called Sellafield. Why? Because it's good pay, it's close to home, but once you're there, everyone's stuck there for life basically. And I could see that at age 13, 14 and said, no, that is not me. So Royal Navy was out of the equation, but then my granddad came along and said, have you looked into the Merchant Navy? I was like, what the hell is the Merchant Navy? So for anybody that doesn't know, the Merchant Navy is completely separate to the Royal Navy. Any ships that you see out at sea, that little boat over there, that's part of the Merchant Navy. Merchant Navy transports all the world's goods. So this vest, these shorts, these shoes, this hat from China, that was all transported via the Merchant Navy. Oil tankers, cargo ships, container ships, cruise ships, even super yachts, that is part of the Merchant Navy. So I think I was about, 15, 16. I went to an open day at Fleetwood over in Blackpool. They have all these different shipping companies, maybe about 10 shipping companies. You go around, you talk to them on the different stalls and you see what options are available. Anyhow, I decided to go ahead with that. And in my head, I wanted a job on a cruise ship because it sounded beautiful. And that thought became a reality. I spent 1 year at South Shields. So at age 16, I packed up my bags and I left home. I went and lived in South Shields on the northeast coast of England and I'd done a 1 year pre-cadetship in shipping and maritime operations. COVID-19 hit, I finished the course online, but I walked away with a level 3 diploma in shipping and maritime operations. Sounds fancy, probably because it is. You're navigating by the stars, you're learning about how ships float, ships constructions, and everything in between. I'm gonna have to come closer to the camera because there's about a load of kids about to walk in front of me and behind me, and I don't want you getting mixed up. Hopefully you can still see me, so I'm gonna crouch down maybe not. Anyhow, yes, 1 year South Shields, and then it came to try and get a sponsoring company. First time round, I sent my CV off to all these different shipping companies. I sent it off to about 10, 12, 15 different companies. I heard back from one of them. Then, interview came around, unsuccessful. Try again in 12 months' time. At this age, I was 16 and I needed to make a decision. The decision I made was to go to South Shields and then reapply for all these different companies in 12 months' time. That came about 12 months later and I got a job with Carnival UK, which owns P&O Cruises and Cunard, which is the company that I work for now. At age 17, I then got this cadetship, which is basically an apprenticeship. It's a 3-year apprenticeship spread over 5 phases. Phase 1, 3 and 5, you spend at college learning everything to do with theory about working at sea. So that was up at Glasgow for me. Then phases 2 and 4 are spent out at sea with the company that you're sponsored by. So for me, I spent 12 months at sea with P&O Cruises and Cunard. At age 17, I had finished my studies in Glasgow and I went to sea for the first time on the Queen Mary 2 under the Cunard line for 4.5 months during COVID. So I never actually stepped foot on land for 4.5 months, and to be honest, it didn't really bother me. The only thing was, I was a 17-year-old kid and I had to mature quickly or I'd be left behind. So that's what really done it for me. I left home at 16 to live in South Shields. At 17, I left and moved to Glasgow for the next 3 years. At 17 also, I went to sea for the first time. And it's not just me at 17 going and being a chippy or being a bricklayer. It's going to sea into a professional environment. You're surrounded by captains that have had tens of years experience at sea, and you either learn to mature up, if that's a thing, you throw yourself into it, you learn the job, you learn from those with experience, and very quickly I got to know that there was a different world out there. As soon as I left my hometown and started travelling the world at age 18, I went backpacking, I'd done all of Europe, I went to sea, I went on a world cruise as a cadet, as a trainee. I spent 100 days from Southampton, went around the world, back to Southampton. I've been to places up the Amazon rainforest, the Mississippi River, Central and South America, Colombia, Panama, you name it, I've been there. 59 countries, I've lived the dream. And anyhow, age 20, I was finishing off all my exams in Glasgow, and on my 20th birthday, I graduated from the City of Glasgow College with a foundation degree in nautical science, which basically meant I got given a piece of paper, a certificate of competency it's called, to work on any ship in the world. For me, I've continued to work on cruise ships for the last 5 years of my life, but I could pick up and I could go to an oil tanker, I could go to a container ship. It's unlimited, I can go around the world. So that came about. My life in Glasgow was absolutely great. Do you know when you're just going out on a weekend and living the dream, getting pissed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night? There was a day, not a day, it was 11 days in Glasgow I went, every single day I was out on the drink. I never had a bad relationship with it, I just loved to party. It was never one drink. I'd come stumbling back at 4 AM and I'd have college at 7. It was a great life, I spent all my money, but guess what? I'm now 1 year and 5 months sober. I've got a runner vest on, which means I do keep myself fit and healthy. Growing up, I played rugby, cricket, football. At age 13, I got told I had to stop all contact sports, which was a big hit for me because I really enjoyed rugby. And I was then told I can't do rugby anymore because it would only take one big hit. Bloody hell, that was nearly the end of me anyways, jumping down that rock. Let me have a drink. But yeah, I'm now 22 years old. At 21 was when I actually went sober. So I was joining the cruise ship as a third officer, which basically means I'm responsible for the navigation of the ship. So your cruise ships that you might go on as a guest to go on holiday, I drive them, get them from A to B, go around the world on them. I spend 4 hours on, 8 hours off, 4 hours on consecutively for usually about a 3-month contract. So at the minute, it's 3 months off, 3 months on, 3 months off. You work every day of the week and you don't get a day off. But you quickly get into the routine of it, and then with the 3 months off, I would just go off and travel or just do anything. 21 came about, I was joining the ship in Malta, so I went a week earlier and road trip around the whole of Malta. I was out every night, I destroyed my body, and I woke up on, I think it was a Thursday morning. I joined the ship with about an hour's sleep, hanging out my ass, and I thought, oh, no way I'm doing that again. So I want to spend the next 3 months while I'm on board sober, see how I go. That was going to be hard because I was always the party goer and I could never say no to a party. But I got through that 3-month stage and I felt the best I had ever felt in my life. So I decided to keep it going for the 6-month mark. 6 months hit and I went, why would I want to go back to that? I can wake up fresh every single morning and the feeling of a good morning outweighs the feeling of a drunk, pissed up night. So for me, 1 year, 5 months sober now, and I have zero intention of ever going back. That's not to say you need to stop to be successful. It's just to say I've been there, I've done that, I've lived that life, I've had my experience drinking every single day, and now I'm moving on with my life and I'm aiming for better things. Another reason for making this YouTube video, I want to live a life with no regrets, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I say yes to every opportunity because tomorrow's not guaranteed, and I just want to bring a community together of like-minded people in a similar situation, wanting to escape that small town negative energy, that small town mentality I like to call it, of you've got all these expectations of your friends and your family expect you to get a job, safe, secure, go on 1 or 2 holidays a year. You don't have to live that life. The biggest investment you can make is in travel. The biggest and highest ROI investment you can make is travel the world, see a different culture, see a different perspective, and it will open your eyes right up to what's actually out there. I feel like I've done everything in life and I'm only 22 years old. I am far from wrong. I've only travelled to 59 of 195 countries I think there is. So where does that put me now? I'm 22 years old, I'm stood on this rock in the middle of St. Vincent with a beautiful sun behind me, 30 degrees, living the dream, and yet I am prepared to throw it all away for something different. I made this decision to go away to sea at not even 16, I was about 13 when I started looking into a life at sea. And to be completely honest, which my family probably don't like this, however, I've never truly been passionate about a life at sea. I was sort of guided down that route by my granddad, not because I was forced down that path. I'm actually the only person in my family to work for 4 or 5 years at sea, but it was more the fact that it was the only other option I could see to escape my hometown, so I went for it. And don't get me wrong, I have lived the absolute dream. I have loved the past 5 years of my life. Working on cruise ships as a trainee, travelling the world, getting paid for it, getting 3 months off at a time. It was time to make a change though. So with my 3 months off, and when I was 21 years old, I went to a crash course and started looking into the property world. I just knew that I wanted to do something big with my life, and I started looking into different things and different areas how to make money, and property was always thrown about there. It will always be thrown about there from now, 100 years ago, and 100 years into the future, and it is something I will continue to do for the rest of my life. However, on the 18th of September 2024, 21 years old, I went to my first ever crash course, it was called, to learn about property. It was a Samuel Leeds crash course in Manchester, and on that day, I genuinely would say my life changed forever. I walked into that room full of, I don't know, about 500 people, property millionaires, people, like-minded people, just wanted to do something with their life. And I walked away from that day with my eyes wide open, initially walking in thinking I've got a good job, $2 a month, woo, that's great, well done Connor. I walked out of there thinking $2 is pennies, I can easily make 10 grand a month in the next 6 months. So, on that day I had £3,500 in the bank account. On stage, he upsold me a £2,000 course for a 4-day training event in London. It was a big rush to the back of the room. The next 28 people to pick up, sign that piece of paper. You'll get it for just £2,000. I think that kind of shows a lot about my character though. I didn't hesitate. I know you've got to be quick, and I know to be successful, you've got to make quick decisions and take action. So I sprinted to the back of that room. I paid £2,000 for a 4-day training event. By the end of that day, I understood how I could make money in property, and I decided to take out a £10,000 loan for a 12-month training academy. That topped it up to £12,000. And on that day I also realised that I'm either going to pay for my mistakes or I'm going to pay for my education. I'm still paying that loan today. 12 months ago I bought my first ever house at 21 years old. I had zero intention of buying a house. I didn't have the money to buy a house, but that training academy taught me how to pull money in from different locations. So that's exactly what I've done. And 2.5 weeks in that training, I bought my first house for £93,000. I'm still refurbing it as we speak. Got to spend about £20,000 on it, and then it'll be worth a new value of £150,000, hopefully. Then I plan on remortgaging that and renting it out as an Airbnb. This past 12 months has been absolutely crazy. I've been in that grind mode 24/7, getting up at 4 in the morning, personal development, meditating, reading books for the first time in my life, getting out on the roads, hitting the gym twice a day, really just taking time to focus on myself, forgetting everything else in the world, putting myself first and the other people second, even my family. Them so-called friends that I thought I had back home, they're no longer a part of my life. They can watch this video, they can judge me, they can have their own thoughts and feelings, but realistically, you're never going to get here from above. So this is my YouTube video. That's a little bit about my life. There's so much more I could tell you. I mean, you think about it, 59 countries around the world, leaving home at 16, open heart surgery, going through secondary school and getting a job in the Merchant Navy. If I ever meet you in person, which hopefully I do, because I actually want to build a community off the back of this post, ask away. I am genuinely so happy and content with life right now, but I am making a change. It's 2025 right now. I'm not going to post this video until 2026 because I'm working on something. I've learned in the past 12 months that telling everyone about my goals and my plans doesn't actually help. I told all my family that I was going to be successful in property in 2 months' time. I'll be making 10 grand a month. I'll have all these different properties, and that's just not the case. And I realised that it's actually better sometimes that if you're not getting support from those around you, just keep it to yourself. You are going to go through a lonely chapter. My lonely chapter was about 8 months until I realised that there was a new environment in property. And here I am, admitting to you, an audience built off the back of property, at least if you've been watching the Instagram and the TikTok videos, that I'm not actually truly passionate about property. I want to build a business, or at least make some money online. I'm young, I'm 22 years old, I've got the world at my feet, and there's no better time to take the biggest risk of my life than right now. So my intentions is to quit my job, pack up, sell everything I own, and just start something brand new. I'm not going to tell you what that is right now because, as I just mentioned, I don't want to start having to explain to people. But if there's one piece of advice I want to leave you with, is read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've not even finished the book myself, but there's a certain chapter that talks about a personal mission statement. I spent about 2-3 days creating my own personal mission statement, and to be honest, when I was writing it down, I thought it was a load of bollocks. I thought, why on earth do I need a personal mission statement? Long story short, I have lived and abided by that personal mission statement for the past 12 months. I say it every single day, not to manifest my life or be a dick in any sort of way, but genuinely, I've had a cold shower every single morning the past 18 months. I've ran an ultra marathon, I don't drink alcohol, and I am content and happy with my life. But I've also gone down the route of working all day, every day, and after 3 months I've burnt out. I've come back to sea, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm ready for a change. This YouTube video, I'm not expecting to do well. It's purely for me to share my own story and look back in many years to come and say, look at it, you took a step, you've done it, well done. I am proud of myself, I'm proud of what I've achieved, but the biggest thing I'm proud of is that I've stopped listening to the other people. I don't have to explain myself to anybody anymore. I've stopped listening and living by the expectations of others, especially my own family, which for a lot of people is going to be very hard and a very hard change to make. Back to the personal mission statement. I'll tell you this, and I think it is fucking fantastic. I love this statement, and here it is. To disrupt the ordinary through the discipline of daily action, to build a life that's truly mine, not built for approval, but for purpose. You can dissect that as much as you like, but take note of it, make your own personal mission statement, and I'll see you in the next video. I've no idea what I'm supposed to say. It's something about the bell notification, subscribe, like, comment. share, whatever. But with the 10 people that are actually going to see this video, I don't think that's going to be possible. So just take something away from this. If you've got any questions at all, drop me a message and let's build a strong community of like-minded people who are going to be very successful. Here is to your success and my future. All the best.